Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello world, hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. Want to thank everyone who has been listening and sharing. Please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please check out the website homegrownwithgcole.com to listen and for all things homegrown. The podcast is now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, radio.com, and all your podcast platforms. We're also very interactive, so please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at MyGCole. The video of this episode is also available on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is episode 104, and in this episode, we talk about the content within dancehall music. A lot of the OGs as well as the upcomers have been addressing this, the state of it, how is it affecting it? So we're going to talk about it, and we're also going to take some live calls right here on the show. All right, so your friends will tell their friends to join us right here. A nice vibe for you today. And of course, you know, we when we talk dancehall, I feel like there are multiple players in the conversation. Sometimes it's the fans of dancehall, the loudest one. Sometimes them louder than the artists, right? Fans of dancehall music, as well as artists and participants within the culture. And I think they do have contrasting views because sometimes the fans are holding on to something, while the artists them sometimes would be willing to make a change, to migrate to something different or to incorporate some more positivity in the thing. But dancehall fans, a lot of times, they're the ones, especially the ones, we call it now, the people in the 40s to 50s age group that's holding on to something. Who knows? All right? Sometimes I feel that I'm a pressure dancehall artist to keep up slackness on it. But anyways, we're going to talk to a dancehall artist himself and somebody who can contribute positively to this conversation, Billy Blade. King, Wagwan, you can hear me?
Yeah, man. Ease.
Cool, no, man. Cool. First of all, congratulations on the new joint. I see the video shoot going on. I see things are going on. So I know you got some stuff, which I got to find one for squeeze off for the massive before we get out of here today. But give thanks. And Happy New Year to my brother. Happy New Year.
Yeah, man. Bless up on the new year, you know?
So we're getting right into it, King. We're getting right into it. The conversation, we're talking about it as though it's a new conversation, but it's been going on for a hot minute right about now when it comes to the content of dancehall and so forth. How do you feel, first of all, and we're just talking about content that's coming out right now today. How do you feel about the state of dancehall? Not Jamaican music, which is reggae, ska, and everything, but just dancehall. How do you feel about it?
Well, right now, the content, personally speaking, and overall, for me, it's a bit lacking. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I when I do get a chance and listen to some mixtapes or anything like that, it's like after 10, 15 minutes, you can stop listening to that mixtape because everything else is just the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it kind of get boring and dragged out where it's like there's not a lot of variety anymore. It's just like every artist upon the same subject, the same thing over and over. It's like it's up and repeat. So, it's kind of a little bit disappointing, you know what I'm saying? Not talking against any artist or anything, but it's just the overall feeling. Like right now, even I go into a little party or a little club and stuff like that. To be honest, they're not playing a lot of the no stuff.
Right.
You understand what I say? It's mostly the 90s, some middle 2000s stuff. Not a lot of the no stuff. It's just maybe some of the big artists no stuff I play where that is more commercial, but not a lot of the other stuff I play. I understand? I mean, you can listen it on YouTube and stream it, but them things they're not playing a club. So that is where the state is. You understand what I say?
That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's funny you mentioned that because when I hopped on at the beginning of the show, I started off with Mad Cabra, right? and drop two carb up on them, which is and I did a contrast. To be honest with you, it wasn't even intentional. You know what I mean? I was just dropping two carb for start the thing. We start with Yush, that a bad boy talk, and then of course we came with Dunwife, which was one extreme to the other. And even though Yush was considered hardcore back then, it was still to the sensibilities. It was still to imagination. It was still wordplay. It was still tongue-in-cheek. It was still just, you know what I mean, art.
Yeah. There was still a level to it. Like it was wordplay. It's like nowadays the creativity. But it is like, I'm not going to say people lazy. I'm not going to say that. Mm-hmm. But I think in today's society, it's like, it's like there's no poetry to the thing anymore. It's like a man feel like say he want to tell a man about them BC, then I'm going to tell them about them BC, and that's it. Right. There's no intricacy, and like the gangster and the badman songs of yesteryear, a lot of them cross over.
Of course.
None of these Badman song, they can't cross over. They can't become commercialized because they are too graphic in detail, and it's not necessarily taking the music anywhere. When you look at like a Bounty Killer and all like Mad Crabber, like you say, you can listen to those songs, you can hold a vibes to those songs, you can dance to those songs, so those songs get played in parties, in clubs, which leads to the music and the industry, the artist being discovered. You cannot play a lot of these songs in clubs because it's just a stand-up thing. There's no vibe, there's no flow. It's just a especially with the so-called chopper go on right now in the beat and thing. There's no melody, no flow. It's just a boom, 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 and your body can't dance to that. You just stand up and you listen.
No groove. No groove. And the sad part about it is, it puts people who love the culture in a predicament, because if you speak on it, some people be like, why you come and get dancehall go answer from long time, which is totally inaccurate. Because I was also telling somebody the big names that we knew that cross over from long time that had hardcore songs, they weren't. Right. This is not what they crossed over on. They had that in the dancehall, but they had other songs that crossed over. I made a reference to the Mad Carber vibe because Mad Carber, I was able to go to Dunwife. I mean, can go other things. Majority of these people don't have that option. So it's not like they have something with them saying, something, I give them 1-2 tune for the bad man them, right? And then for this now, I got something else, right? It's not that. It's just a barrage, a graphic, illicit, especially when we talk about our ladies nowadays, our young ladies, the way them deal with the woman, them, it's to me, it's crazy.
Yeah, you have no song I say, boy, ladies, if you look good and rare. No, there was a balance. There was a balance at one point. Yeah. And then the balance just seemed to just disappear. It's like, me remember when me I go dance and me I go party. If you have a good selector, them can play from 6 till 6 the next morning. Yep. Because they play soul's music, they play the reggae, the roots reggae, and then go into the dance hall, then play like a disco, then play like a hip, a little hop, and then drop back to the dance hall again, and then when you want to run the people in from the dance, you drop in some souls.
The party closer.
You see what I'm saying? But it's like, no, I mean, let me say, I really go to any parties now, so-called dancehall parties or clubs now, where, like I said, a lot of the new stuff, 1 and 2 play, but it's not them a play all night, because those things cannot hold crowd, cannot hold a party vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I say?
Brother, trust me, I stop God dance because of that. You know what I mean? Let me not say that. I tell myself that I'm a vex every now and then, but sometimes my baseline can't have to jump in there. You know what I mean? I enjoy one thing, and then them starts play the foolishness, and then I gotta go. But you don't know the thing set up. G,
right.
we have to continue that one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hit you up after because we got a panel thing I got to put together and we'll chop it up a little bit later and see what some things are going on. But I would say to use this. Please continue to do what you do because we need it. And I'll say to the masses, it ain't about preaching to anybody. It's just about equilibrium. You know what I mean? Give us something we can play without having that sense of the thing. You know
man. Well, my new album will come out soon. It'll be a ode to that kind of, straight dancehall, drum and bass with a little flavor, because that's what I've been hearing.
Right.
That's what I've been hearing from everybody. I went to Canada, I did a performance, and the people love. It's not that they're holding on to anything old. They just love that flow, that flavor. You understand that vibe. You understand these things don't have any vibe now. So, coming out with my new album, Dancehall again, that have a lot of those, it have everything. So, yeah, we'll talk about that differently.
Mad. As a matter of fact, shoot me over WhatsApp or whomever, however. Shoot me over the tuner real quick. Let me see if we can get into it real fast before I get out of here, all right?
Okay, boss.
My brother. Give thanks as always, eh?
Yeah, man. Bless you.
Bless you.
None of mercy on them. Yeah. This one reaching out to all the leaders and media. This is Rodney Price, aka Yeah. None of mercy.
Got another caller for you. Got another caller. Caller, you're live. Eddie Robinson, what going on, fam?
What, my brother? You good?
Oh, man, it's a new year. I can't complain. I'm ready for some great things. How you still?
Well, you're right. You can't complain because nobody now listen to the story.
So they don't want to hear that.
You complain, daddy.
Everybody got their own problems out in these streets.
But they have them own issues, my brother.
Man. My brother,
Yes,
sometimes when certain things come up, we if it's a dancehall conversation, we head to certain artists to have the conversation because of the fact that they're considered dancehall artists and whatever, right? But truth be told, and you and I know, dancehall really is a place, it's a culture. It's not just the artist, it's not just what it represents. Because when me I go a dance, believe it or not, when me I go in a dancehall as a young kid, dancehall no bundung until you play what today would be deemed not a dancehall song. Would that be a roots reggae? Would that be a gospel tune? Would that be an R&B? I've been in a dancehall before, and in order to flatten the place, somebody had to draw gospel. Them have to draw Sanchez. Them have to, you know what I'm saying? Ed Robinson for flatten the thing. So it ain't about the tempo. So
Real talk.
Lately the conversation has reared its head again, right? Which is about censorship. Some people say that this stuff needs to be censored. Some people say no. We had that conversation before. We saw Luciano was quoted in the Stars saying it need a clean up. Kabaka just had a conversation published too, where he's saying the gatekeepers, the international gatekeepers, the people who control and let in and restrict those things from international marketplaces, be it the US, Europe, wherever, they will accept certain type of lyrics from their own. But them not accept it from the outsider. So in other words, the American market may allow a hip hop artist to come with some graphic negative lyrics, but they ain't gonna let the Jamaican one in because to my assessment on that is it ain't their people. So why? Talk to me a little bit first of all when you listen, because what I love is that you not only create music but you consume the music, and that's something that we're lacking. Most people who create it don't consume it too, right? And it's sad, but you consume the music also. How do you feel about the state right now of not the dancehall space, not the dancehall the genre, but the music itself that's coming out right now?
Nothing is wrong with nothing that is coming out right now. People have to remember this, brethren. In this world, you have a little word with them called variety. See? In everything, you have to have variety. All the badness, you have to have different degree of badness. See? Mm-hmm. Truth is, what's really wrong with what's going on in a dancehall right now? It is not lucrative for nobody, and that's what the problem is, Rasta.
Hungry people vex.
It's not, and that's why everybody vex, because you see, dancehall, the what we know as dancehall, the genre, the music, the ragamuffin, something there. Mm-hmm. It start out 1000% wrong in the first place. It never start right financially, lucratively. It never start right. You see, dancehall start out like pimping, seeing, and that a lot of people don't realize, my brother. Dancehall, the music, the genre. Let's don't mention the music. See, the lifestyle, the dancehall lifestyle. It's like hip hop is not necessarily a music no more. Hip hop is a lifestyle now. See,
right.
We people are live hip hop. People where they even rap when they play music are live hip hop. Right. This is what went wrong with the lifestyle of dancehall in the first place. Remember now, every music form take on to itself a lifestyle.
Right.
People have to think before them even start cuss out anything in a Rasta, because the truth is, when you have when you have the whole, remember when we used to have Admiral Billy and Tiger and them bridging the man, them come and say, yo, 2-year-old. We don't want a 2-year-old. What was we talking about?
What was he talking about?
What was we talking about? Because the whole of we that sing it in a rasta. And you can't get up and sing a tune. You can't get up and sing a tune and you don't know where you sing it.
Yeah,
that don't make no sense to not even the person we are doing.
Yeah.
See? So you have to remember, say, dancehall has become a lifestyle that we cannot maintain financially anymore, because if anybody remember how dancehall used to get finance back in the days, then what going right now would be a laugh, would be a joke. Anything what going bad in a dancehall. Problem is, no money now make off a dancehall, because the man them used to make the money and put in a dancehall and make dancehall become the way it become. Seeing, make the lifestyle become the way it become. Them bad mind friend either kill them or them they are prison lock up with Bobo in a nice cell right now.
So the funding man, them gone. So I feel like what you say, and I completely appreciate it. Is pretty much right now everybody hungry, so everybody a scream, right?
It's a bunch of hungry dog about right now. That's all. What are we hungry?
And what you said, which is gospel, which is true, pretty much is the music and the lifestyle. For example, hip hop. Hip hop is a culture, right? Hip hop is a multi-billion-dollar industry because it's not just music.
I'm not sure about the music culture, yeah. But I'm not sure about the whole culture thing, brother. To me, I don't know. Maybe I never go to Spanish town school too long enough, but put it this way. I don't know about culture and lifestyle. Sometimes we tend to intertwine them something, brother, because culture, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be no expert on culture and lifestyle. But me just bank it. I just chalk all of it up to a lifestyle, brother, because you can choose to live it or you don't live it. See, I'm a musician and I play music. I don't live a hip-hop lifestyle. I don't live a dancehall lifestyle. I don't even live a reggae lifestyle, because we all sit back and watch and realize what even the whole reggae thing has become. You understand me? And everything just becomes so miserable right now. The reason for that, Virgin, is like when every last one of us was making money up the wazoo, nobody was complaining. You understand me? No, the money now make off of nothing. The money they make off of show right now because the whole disease foolishness, a cramp all of that, brother.
But let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this, because I feel you on that. Let me ask you this. There was a time when dancehall was a lucrative space because there was a product to sell, right? In other words, there was two things going on. There was something created for hardcore people who want to hear certain things, but there was also something to sell.
Yes.
Now, when I was growing up as a kid, there were many dancehall artists who I thought was huge. But when I left the country, I realized that they were not. It's just that we were in our little utopia. We're in a little vacuum in Jamaica. And Jamaica is not that big. So if I'm going well, you can hear it.
We were in a little bowl. You know them little, like you have a little bowl at your house where you keep some small swimmers, and then you get rich and buy a big aquarium where you put all alligator in a more time. That's the whole scenario, brother. Right. That's the whole scenario. We were living in a little bowl because some artists where we ended up burn up the place where when you drop it at a place, in a space when you dance, when you go to reggae some fest, when you go to those big festivals, some artists where they run the place. See, where if them artists run up on the show, man say, yo, the show boring, Rasta, this and that and this and that never depend it, see? When we drop a foreign, brother, when them give a first little visa run and when we drop a foreign, see, me not talk about just little America. Right. Me not talk about the big wide world space. Not even Trinidad, me never hear the artist say. You understand me?
Right.
So you have to understand something, brother. The whole problem right now, people need to stop with the foolishness and the criticism and the beat down. People just need to stop with it for a minute, brother. See? And think. That is the problem with us. Not even criminals now think nowadays. That's why the man gets so get caught so quick. You understand me?
So how do they rectify it? What can they do? What would you suggest right now that they do? Because again, the feedback that's coming right now, in other words, it adds up. So when people were saying good things about the dancehall sphere, dancehall music was bigger, selling more, moving more units, people were coming more and more participants and so forth. Now that we're hearing the complaints about it, is it the complaints as a result of the lack of commercialism, or is the commercialism just a byproduct of the complaints? If you
Yes and no.
What would you suggest?
Yes and no.
What would you suggest?
What would the solution where I do to it right now, my brother, is the sensible one them, the man them, because you know, say in everything you have some idiot people and you have some sensible people. So in everything, everybody make no sense we beat around the bush, brother. We have a little bit too much idiot and that's something. People who don't know nothing about the business part of it. See?
Right.
And those are the ones that we tend to gravitate towards and reel them up and lift them up and everything. And them don't have no sense.
Right.
You understand me? From Yassa to next level, brother. But the truth is, what the people need to do right now, or what whoever with them little money I call gatekeeper, because I'm even too sure about that part either. See? Listen, what they need to do, Bridget, is to simply find the commercial way of doing this thing. Yeah, some little man, some little ignorant people call it sell out and this and that and whatever, you know what I mean, and commercialize and water down the thing. Seeing? But if the thing can't be defended by product and brand name, if the thing cannot be defended by those things, seeing? You and your brethren can't just go sell a couple OZs and couple keys and defend the thing, brother. It not go nowhere. And that's how it start out from day one. It not go nowhere. If the man them they just wash that, just launch him out the money there.
Yeah.
Seeing? And put it in the music from day one.
Now we'd be better
like
right now.
Every normal business entity and record company used to do. They used to do that, brethren. If the man was doing that. But no, every man want to be a producer. Every man want to be a studio owner.
And a
every
label.
man want to be every man want to be every man want to be a label. And the same man them own the label and control the label. And them manage the artist and them road manage the artist.
Yep.
And them travel with the artist. And them buy the artist Benz like them gal.
So there's no professionals in there. There's just
there's no structure, there's no professional, there's nobody in there that know what they're doing. But you know, so when you have money, you can just do anything you feel like. When some money are run, and guess what? Them little fat neck white man draw down upon them with some handcuff. That the label they're done. But let history be your teacher, brethren. Let history be your guide and make we stop the complaining. If a man come up and start produce and start have him label, seeing structure it through some business entity rasta, structure it through something where make sense, because what we did in the first place never made any damn sense, rasta.
You're right. You said something a while
one
ago.
of those labels.
You said something a while ago, which was in reference to the marketing the stuff, right? We if it make the thing sellable, for lack of a better word. Would that not go back to the lyrics though? Because a lot of the complaints, here's what the major complaint is. People are complaining about the trap dancehall and the beats and whatever the case may be. I'm gonna be honest with you. If them like that, to each his own. It may not be for me, but to each his own, right? But when we talk about the lyrics and them look a thing there, that can be either marketable or not. You can't sell certain lyrics, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to pay for it, we miss out on the fact that, you know, we came from a time where children now work. So if a child wanted a CD, and mommy have to buy it for them.
And the mama and papa buy that, man.
I can buy it for them. Even now with the streaming services and whatever the case may be, there's still restrictions that can be put on it. When it comes to concerts, because people don't realize this, you know. When I used to go to shows and say Shinehead, say Beanie Man, say a bunch of them people that perform, a lot of kids were in the crowd. And the reason why a lot of kids were in the crowd is because their parents were there with them, right? So right now, if the parent depend, nope. You know, I'm a bit here that I am buying the CD, I am buying the concert ticket, I am buying whatever the case may be. Does it not lend back to the facts? And maybe we need to fix up the lyrics them so it can appeal to a wider mass, because the shot of them wait to appeal to now come at the concert. The shot of them wanted.
No. Listen, that is censoring people's stuff. That is censoring. And when was the last time you see a organization designed to censor porno?
Well, it's not up on TV though.
Listen, it don't have to depend on TV. It don't have to depend on TV. It don't have to depend nowhere that is so-called decent, respectable people thing. Because what is listen, that's a different conversation when it comes to respectable. That's a totally different conversation.
That's after dark. That's an after dark show.
Thank you, Virgin. The same respectable people them where I fight the thing that all of these little youths here do. The same respectable people them, trust me. When you draw two of them tune in and then like a private party.
Them are real.
See, just quietly video it and say if one of them jump up and a skin out and a dance to it.
No, you're right.
Because
You're right. You're right.
They find that as fun. Let me tell you something. Nothing, no slack and lewd like their nice uptown carnival thing.
The
Nothing on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
Not even porn movie, brother.
Jano.
Just a slack and rude like their so-called uptown carnival thing.
Jano.
So nothing. Don't even think for 1 minute that I'm gonna say what these youths are doing is wrong.
No. But I'm not saying that. No. I don't believe in censorship. I don't believe in censorship at all. What I'm saying is this: it's the equilibrium. What I was saying pretty much is this: a lot of the artists then would drop one type of music, don't drop the one that sells. So if you check back to the ones that were doing well, it don't mean that okay. I consider Bunty a hardcore artist, but Bunty had as many records that could play on the radio. Beanie Man have
you Bunty are complaining about dancer?
Exactamundo. That's my point, exactly. But the people them who are complaining right now, them not sell.
I want you to listen to me and I want you to listen to me carefully. Any artist, I don't care who the guy is. Seeing if you not like him, I'm going to say right now, but chuck off somewhere. Seeing I don't care who the guy is, brother. Let me tell you something. Any artist where you hear a complain about dancehall and he never used to do dancehall and he might complain about this and he might complain about that. You know what the problem is? I make no money right now, so I find something to blame it for.
Exactly.
You understand me?
Hungry.
He not make no money right now. Man, hungry like some old dog from down a bloodbath river town. You know what I'm saying?
Hungry.
So the truth is, brother, it's all boiled down to how much money we're making. Because when we were making a bunch of money, nobody was complaining, and it was the same garbage that was out there. It was the same filth that was out there. Nothing. The man them not talk about nothing now. Where Yellow Man never used to talk about Rasta.
Right.
You understand me? The man them not talk about nothing right now where Major Workers never used to talk about.
Right.
You understand me? What is new in slackness? What is new in badness?
But but the thing is this though, that's what I'm gonna say. All right, for example, if I have an artist, let's say me have an artist who I'm investing, right? And him have a bag of them tune there, and me actually love them, right? But then that's an artist that I'm trying to put out to the world so that we can be successful and reap something. I would let the artist know, say, while you're doing that, where's the one that we're selling? Where's the one that we're putting out to sell? You get me? So that's what I'm saying in terms of a lot of the artists.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Didn't the rude boy Gargamel, didn't Mr. Buju Banton put out a song called "How Forget Your Body Even by Gunpoint"? See?
Yep.
So what Buju didn't sell?
But here's the thing. But he also had that's my point exactly.
That's a borderline rip song,
well,
that is a borderline.
I don't disagree, and truthfully, we can dig up about 50% of the other thing them to find the other artists, and that is borderline rip. Too
and
much
the
of them.
Man was selling records.
But
the man do some great show. The man do some great religious show and some great
forget them there. Before him cross over to the reggae vibe, right? When he was just in dancehall, and and the reason why I want to mention that is because what you said a while ago is perfectly pointing down the avenue. I'm saying he had that song, but he also had damn near the whole album. Voice of Jamaica it's not about preaching, and it's not about positive lyrics, and it's just about something where can go in every space. So while certain songs couldn't go in every space, he had songs that could. And that's the problem, where some people create stuff that can't go in. When your entire catalog can't pass your neighborhood, then we kind of screwed.
Listen, the entire catalog just not on visa. Right? They can go at your foot. So put it that way, my brother. We understand all of that. But it's because the man them can't travel, the man them restricted and all them things. So you can't be You can't be a man who's stuck in a hole and stuck in a dirty environment and stuck in a, not even a dirty environment. You're stuck in a miserable environment. You cannot be a man who's stuck in a miserable situation and all you did there sing about is, oh, baby, I love you. Which baby?
True. You're reflecting your environment. But here's the other thing. We got 3 to go. But here, let me ask you this.
Not even environment sometimes. A man even leave the house because you don't know, say, we're road boy. More time you can't leave the house because you leave the house and that's it, brother.
That's true.
Said, tell Lucifer and said hello. You know what I mean? But the truth is, Rasta. The truth is, sometimes a man stuck in a mind. See? So all what come out at him, all we hear come out at him is the misery where him a go through right now. Him broke, he not no money. A man can't even call to be in, you know what I mean? Because guess what? When you broke, even the woman them have sense around your brother, they're not time for you. You understand me?
I want to love Charmaine. Charmaine is a good
one. Have sense, brother.
Love Charmaine. Charmaine a good girl. Leave her alone. Listen, she's trying to better herself. So
right?
always a joy for reason.
The truth is, Brethren, listen, of all of the complaint them, make we reach the point now in life right now where we stop complaining about the problem. Everybody and them granny know the problem, brother. Everybody and them granny know the problem. Here is the solution. Any man who used to make money out of reggae music, out of dancehall music, and he now make none now. Seeing need to put a zip all across him, brother, because we didn't want to hear part around him. You understand me?
I love it.
Need to put a zip round here, brother, because the truth is, when you used to make money from the germs, when you used to make money from the dirt, when you used to make money from the mud that you used to sling, boy, see? When you used to make money from the fakery, because we all know that reggae artists we are some of the biggest liars. We don't know about the R&B, right, man? See, we are talking about R&B, we are talking about reggae music. Every world knows we are some of the biggest liars. You understand?
Right.
Because we're creative people, and once you're a creative people, hello, you're a liar. You understand? Because we've come up with scenarios that never exist. We come up with scenarios that they make sense.
Right.
Sometimes, and we write it in a tune. See?
Creativity, yeah.
So the truth is, brethren, when we used to write all of these lies and foolishness and fabricate and fake, and we used to make money off of it, it was okay. But now, everything is truth and righteousness and blah, blah, blah. And we pull from Rastafari, and we pull from the ghetto, and we pull from the gunman scene, and we pull from the soundboy scene, and every weekend we kill about 50 songs. You know what I'm saying? But no, we're not making no money from that even half a sound business. So
let me ask you this. So for the people who so the funding elements that we had back then, which was the call it what it is, what they refer to as that dry up,
man. Let's be real.
So since we ain't got that no more, and we're at the point where we ain't got no homies to fund nothing, and we don't have the money, right? But these people still want to do something. Since we don't have the option of drawing on those anymore, what do they do to make people actually pay attention? Because here's the deal. Other genres...
Lean into the businesses. Start doing stuff for where we used to call sellout. See? Start leaning into
that's the point.
Did I see come up a pyramid and Jesse Royal and them man them lead into a commercial aspect, and Jesus Christ, if you ever hear the people them do them,
beat them
up. I
up.
don't know if you remember that scenario.
Yep, Christmas thing.
The man them lead into one of the biggest fakery. The only fakery come close to it is Batman business. See? Is the dancehall? Is the Christmas foolishness? See?
Right.
That's the only thing that's even more fake than it was Rude Boy, was Batman business. See? And put it this way, my brother. The people them beat Jesse until the man and disappear, brother. The only music, Mr. Boya. Only song them, Mr. Left Boya. What do we the man and beat him?
I said no images, no video.
Guess what those brethren was doing? Those brethren was bringing the music into something that the business them seeing. All right, you know, see Bunty retreat to having with the phone company them.
Yeah.
Seeing?
Yeah.
That
Sponsors.
Is what we are talking about, brother. Real
corporate sponsors.
Businesses, real businesses.
But here's the thing, though.
Sponsoring stuff.
But that's the thing, though, is that
reggae need to go, brother. We need to stop the damn complaint.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Not reggae, though, because remember, what the gripe is coming from is what we call, again, take away what them call dancehall music, type of music and call dancehall music. Because we do see people get sponsorship. We do see people get stuff. We see the Saskas of the world. At some point, the Iactians of the world. Things might have switched right now, but we see them artists there. Because they have a certain catalog that those people can market and put in a commercial. When all your catalog says is kill them, burn them, breed them, take away, rape them, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So hence why I'm wondering if, though we try to talk about censorship, I'm not saying censoring anybody because I never try to censor an artist. But isn't it?
Don't even think that word.
I would never do that. But wouldn't it be incumbent on us if we want the artist to make it? If you actually say to them, to listen, that what you're doing, you don't have to stop doing. But that what you're doing can't go over here. So you need to also do this.
Right. Let me tell you the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
The little people who you just talk like you quote somebody a while ago, like somebody in authority who speak like he's from a little bit above halfway tree. You know what I mean? Who speaks like they're from that direction. Seeing the look as proper speaking people. You know, the when they step to you and then go, listen, we need you to do this. Here's the problem with those kind of people in their mind. Here's the problem with them. You can't be I'm going to kill some boy, and I'm going to shoot up some pole, and we're going to hold you, go touch your head. You can't be that kind of person and represent. Your image now doesn't represent their product. So them have to move in safer. But because this is how ignorant and stupid they are in a bridging. You are used a nice looking, a guy who go to the hairdresser like me and shave his face and wash his hair and do his hair and have long dreadlocks in the back of him. You know what I mean? And he speaks properly like you. You are use him to represent a product that you're trying to sell to get to people. Watch the ignorance and the double tantrum whatever lick for we right now, brother. Seeing instead of you trying to sell a product name, whatever, where you drink about 5 of them and you kill about 8 guys. Seeing you trying to sell a product like that, and you're gonna use a man like like me and you, like a nice, decent, respectable businessman. You're gonna use us as who oppose as artists to say, we are selling these products. No, you have to use a man with a so-called genuine, real. Man, keep it real. But a real man for represent those products. These people are not gonna do that, brethren, because guess what? Your image is not right.
Well, true.
It's about you have to clean up an image right now and become this like a nice guy to be accepted in the corporate
But
space.
Bunty is also coming from a place. But here's the thing. Right now, today's day, we are also Jamaica has changed infrastructurally, commercially, economically to the point where back then.
No.
Hold on. Here's why I say that. It
has been the same set of people that will run it.
No, I'm not saying the same people. I'm not saying the same people now run it. I'm saying it's changed with how they're doing what they do. Because here's the deal. We talk about the dancehall artists and all those people. I can go back. I'm not going back way back. I'm going back to the 80s and the 90s, right? Dancehall music as a whole wasn't being embraced. So there was you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall seeing not a one dancehall artist having any form of sponsorship. Events had sponsorships.
Zero.
Right?
But remember now, that's how we start out the conversation. We did not need it because there was a bunch of brethren. There was a bunch of rude boys.
Flooding it with bread.
A bunch of hustlers around here. So if a man need 100 G for big up him group and buy himself a little Pro Tools studio and buy some speaker and put it in the back room and have 50 niggas around there a produce and a DJ. We could do it because the truth is we had all of that financial defense. So no boy I couldn't talk to it around here. You understand me? We never have to talk to no guy with him product try sell it, and we not sell it and we feel the minute you know Bobby badness gets shot, or one little big neck policeman lock him up, or him friend inform upon him, or him virgin shoot him or rob him. See? The minute that's gone, the minute those scenarios come into play, and guess what? More than 100 of them man there are got down. See?
Yeah.
Once them start inform upon themselves, brother. Once them start tell upon themselves, because none of them the old bad man there, we can do a year of prison. So he not do a year, brother. He must sing, he must rap like LL Cool J for him friend. You understand me? So the truth is, Dread, when all of that gone, when all of that happen, all our financial holes, all our financial defense, every last one of them dry up.
Right.
See? And nowadays, you have an next little hustle. Once them little man, you have to remember the ignorance of us, you know, brother. That's the problem, you know. See? If 50 that we there, so we find a little hustle, we find a little lucrative hole we can make some money. We don't keep it quiet, you know. We get loud, no blow with it, you know, brother.
My brother. Don't put the people out on blast. We 8 minutes past our time. May I go give thanks for your forward show. We have
no blast. We have put them out the way, but here's the problem where destroy the thing, and guess what? The minute the thing drop out, the minute the bucket, the bottom of the bucket drop out, brother. The support, the foundation of the bucket drop out. Seeing? We can't turn to corporate America because we did done stealing up our image from long time. We did done stealing up our reputation from long time. Nobody no want to deal with we no more because we're boisterous and we're unruly and nobody can control we and this and that and no, guess what? The same set of people them. Remember, you know, people don't realize, you know, it's those same kind of mental Jamaicans are coming up here and having kids and raise those kids in that environment. And these are the same people that's becoming the executive at the record companies now. So they have that same, I like them like a jing bang Jamaican boy there, mentality. They have that mentality that they're not signing us anymore. When was the last time you see them sign a ragamuffin youth out of Jamaica, brother?
But the thing is,
who used to sign Jamaicans back in the days? Does anybody know who used to sign Jamaicans to record label back in the days?
Who did?
Jamaicans.
Okay, and we've lost that.
And
we don't have that no more.
Every last one of those executives at those record companies back in the days that used to sign all of the greats. Every last one of them were Jamaicans. Put it this way, the only artist that never gets signed to a record company by a Jamaican was Ed Robbins. You understand me? I got signed to 2 different record companies by non-Jamaican people. You go back into the history. History cannot lie, brethren.
Right.
It's there. Seeing the paperwork is there. Go back. People now go back into the history when them realize that certain things now work. Go back and see why it now work.
Well, we have forgot. We
like the photos, brother, and run back an old case and run back an old file. See?
Right.
Go back and do on the history, people. There's a reason why all of this thing I used to work back in the days and now it not work, because guess what? The foolishness is not there anymore. Now it's being structured. Now it's being controlled. Remember how much artists used to travel back in the days, brother?
Right.
Remember how much artists who used to get those visas? How we used to get them visa there? You think a record company used to step up and say, yo, I like that artist. I like what he's doing. Bring him over here. Listen, man, go chuck off. Stop with the complaining, Rasta.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'll say this.
All of us know the problem, Rasta, man.
Yeah, but here's the reality of it. A lot of the people who are in the mix of it all are also the ones complaining. What happened? Here's the thing, because here's what I've heard. I hear the complaints. They ain't making no money. But at the same time, the entities that there are people who just want to enjoy something. Right? Because here what happened. Yeah. We had an option of this and that. You can enjoy the thing, all our vibes, all of this and that, and then couple bad man to kick off or whatever. Right. And the other set of people who are complaining are the people who just are listening to old dancehall. So the young people, they must say, why you not listening to new dancehall? And the people, them say, I can't listen to new dancehall because the balance not there, right? So the complaint is coming from majority of places. And my thing pretty much is this: do your thing, but can a brother get something to listen to too? I feel like as a dancehall artist,
exactly.
You cater to one set of the market. You know, I cater to me. I went to me now. Rock and groove, then you're vexed with me coming out rock and groove. But here what, we have to continue this another time because we 12 past. Them done bump a long time. All right.
I saw the thing, man. Interesting subject always last them longer. But brother, let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
If once a year a man a complain for something, especially when they on the media and they on the internet, something like on radar, on whatever, see, press the mute button, brother. Once a year, I complain. Once a year, I see a problem. Press the mute button, Rasta.
Say, yo, that's it. That's enough. That's enough. No, it's true. And when people complain, you can hear.
Everybody knows the solution. And when some artists come up with the solution, when the Kibaka Pyramid and the Jesse Ryan and the man they come up with the solution, brother.
We bash them.
Leave the man them personal life out of the business.
True.
It's called a business for a reason.
True.
It's called music business for a reason, brethren.
True.
You understand me? And that's like the Rasta corporate, and that's right there. You know, they pan the little, you know, my own, where you want, a Benz, all right, hold it. No, I know that's where it go again. I know where it go again, brother. Them loose ball money, they're not about with nobody no more. Everything is structured now. You understand me? Everything is structured now. You live in it. Welcome to the new world, man.
We got to figure it out.
There's an order, brethren. Welcome to the new world.
Well, I tell you this: if you can make some time for us this evening, the conversation continues. So,
see that? You got put a damn self massive and yo,
brother.
All of us as artists need to grow some sense here, brother, man. Come on, man. We need to wake up and grow some sense. Stop the damn complaining, brother. No,
and do something about it. Do something about it, and when people do something about it, load them.
Thank you, my brother.
Load them.
Some of us are doers in a Rasta. Some of us are doers in.
Yeah.
You don't know where the rest of them is, brother, because I don't have word for them in more time.
Jano. Load the people.
You man take up here, Spanish town as well and jump out in some man more time.
Yeah.
You can't go around doing that no more, but I know the days this no more, you know what I mean?
My brother.
The days are over, brother, never to be returned. Never to be returned.
Keep doing the do. Keep doing the do, King. We're going to connect again.
Doing what you doing, my brother, and guess what? Open the massive them eye, because the truth is, you don't know it go. Eyes can be open, brother. You know
Absolutely. Absolutely, my G.
Eyes can be open, Rasta.
It's Ed Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Brother, give thanks as always. Sing?
Every time, brethren. Thanks for having me, man.
Pleasure. One love.
One upon yes, sir.
Leave me wishing still for one more day.
Chris D. Montague, ladies and gentlemen. One of the pure vocalists of reggae music. Again, I want to thank everybody rocking out, man. You know, the conversation of dancehall has been coming up, and the reason why I wanted to drop some of these joints too is because a lot of people don't understand that it's not the tempo, it's not the rhythm, it's not how hardcore, it's not, you know what I mean, singers versus DJs that constitute dancehall business, all right? Because trust me, you're going to the dancehall and them draw these tunes, it's craziness. When I say craziness, I mean craziness. But you know, the dancehall situation has raised its head again. And, you know, many people talk about it, and rightfully so, because of the fact that dancehall means a lot to many of us, right? Though some people have a tendency to claim ownership more than others. You know what I mean? If you're an artist, you feel like you got more say. If you're a selector, you feel like you've got more say. If you're one of them people who are always into the dance, you feel like you got more say. So everybody's want their say to go their direction. But at the end of the day, we got to realize that we all love this thing called dancehall and dancehall music, right? But for years now, it's not something new. Years now, right? Years. We've been hearing the complaints about dancehall lyrics. And of course, as we speak about the content of dancehall, there are lots of people who will say, well, ain't nothing new, right? And what I would say ain't nothing new too is the concept of people complaining about the lyrics of dancehall. That's nothing new. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. But The reality about the whole dancehall thing is this. What, Pearl? Wait, it's a birthday tomorrow? Woo! Happy birthday to you when it comes. All right, I'm going to be on the radio in the morning. I'm going to give you a shout for that birthday. I'm going to drop some birthday songs for you too. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, show some birthday love for Pearl inside the chat room. All right? Hit her up for some birthday love. What you talking about? Pearl celebrating her birthday. We celebrating everything positive right now. All right? There's so much craziness going on right now. We get birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. We celebrating. So happy birthday, Pearl. Happy birthday when it comes. So dancehall thing now, you know, what I feel is, I feel like, yeah, we've been complaining about the content for a minute. And when we say complaining, the voices have been just as chorused over the years. It's just that we are in the age of social media. We are in the age of everybody has a voice and their voice needs to be heard and they can put it out there, right? We're also, what social media has also led to is less content for actual mainstream media. So the mainstream media feeds on that too. But the thing is, the stuff that we used to say was terrible back in, and I'm sounding like I'm an old dude right about now, but this predates me. But even when I was a kid going in the dance hall some 20 years ago, right? 22, 23 years ago in the dance hall, right? People are always complaining about what was going on in the dance hall, lyrically speaking. But the truth is, if we listen to the things that people used to complain about as dancehall music back in the day, they're damn near roots and culture today compared to what the youths are singing about right now, right? They've made it so graphic right now. So graphic. We hear people complaining about, you know, the derogatory way in which they speak about our ladies, right? And yes, I hear it over and over and over. Yellow Man used to do it, and Son in our early days and used to do it, and everybody used to do it, but it wasn't the same. Trust me, it wasn't. The things that are being said right now are downright atrocious, you know? But I think the major difference with then and now is that the concept of time and place. I don't subscribe to the theory too much of derogatory music because, again, time and place. Not everything is for everyone. Not everything is for every place, right? So certain things definitely don't have a place on the radio. If I purchase a CD that has derogatory music on it, or even just explicit content on there, or language that's deemed explicit language, it's stamped on their parental advisory, right? And then it's up to me whether or not I want to get it. But if I purchase a CD that says parental advisory on it, I'm definitely not going to be playing it in my car with my kids in there, right? And, you know, it gives us an opportunity to enjoy some stuff sometimes. Because we people complain, people make it seem like they don't listen to certain things, but they do, you know. A lot of times if your favorite artist says or does certain things, you'll give it a pass versus somebody else. But as I get stuff now, I can't say I'm enjoying, right? So when I am playing music and when I go into the dancehall space right now, not true, Palm. When I go into the dancehall space right now and a good vibes is held, I remember going to a little vibes. Damn, COVID and killed, man. It's like 2-3 years ago, right? I can't remember. Grooving, something like that. I may tell you, so when I left, I felt so good. I felt so good. And the funny thing about that situation is, it was the rules of grooving at the time was 80s, 90s, and 2000s, going up to 2010. Dancehall, right? That's what they played. Nothing else. Nothing more than that. And also, there were no microphones on the DJ booth. No mics. So the DJs didn't get to talk, period. Right? They just had to play music. But the thing is, even when I'm not at grooving, the only time I look around and see the crowd a groove is when DJs and selectors draw for older songs, right? And I'm talking about from dancehall to reggae to whatever the case may be. Because remember, you know, when we go into that venue, that is the dancehall, you know. It ain't about the genre of music. It is the dancehall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've gone to some dance and the dance don't flatten until a gospel draw, until a country and western song draw, right? Until a R&B, a real classic soul draw. So I'm saying that to say the dancehall space is open to any genre, not just what we call dancehall music, right? But we've had a couple of complaints lately, and it's not just complaints about what the content is. We've had complaints from practitioners of dancehall music talking about the artists, the promoters, musicians, DJs, a whole bunch of people. We've been getting the complaints that, man, dancehall now busts like it used to be back in the day, right? Remember a time when dancehall artists used to be signed to major labels. Here's a crazy thing about it. If you think about it, there was a time when majority of the international signings that we've had from Jamaican artists, don't get it twisted, is dancehall artists more so than reggae artists. Yes, you had a couple of reggae artists, that were signed to major labels. Ed Robinson signed to major label. Richie Stevens signed to major label. Later on, Wayne Wonder signed to major label and stuff like that, right? But if you think a majority of the people who were signed to major labels, they were dancehall artists, right? Shabba, right? Beanie, Elephant, right? Spraga, right? Shabba, Supercat. When you think a majority of the people who got an opportunity with major labels, Mad Cabra, it was dancehall artists, right? Dancehall music, reggae music has the message and the sweet vibes. And reggae make you sit down at meds all day. But dancehall make you move and dancehall make you groove. So guess what? That's what the masses want to hear. A lot of times you can sell that more than anything else. And guess what? It's not always picture perfect, squeaky clean music. But it wasn't repulsive. You know what I mean? Happy New Year, Peter. Large up yourself. Great to see you. Great to see you. It wasn't repulsive, right? And then, of course, now we have artists complaining, say, we not get to travel. We're not getting to do this and do that. But the content of the music is not helping that as per some of your counterparts speaking on it, right? So Luciano spoke out in an interview, and I quote in an interview because you know how these things go. For all you know, it could have been misquoted, right? But they said that the messenger is crying out for the government, right? The government, all right, to sort out a morality check for the music. And of course, they're talking about dancehall music here. So the people who have the power to and the need to come up with legislation for the music or have a committee that tests the music, like a Bureau of Standards that checks products, right? So forth and so forth. I can't say I agree with that. I can't say I agree with that primarily because there's Pandora's box. You open up the Pandora's box, there is no closing it back, right? So, but we do have the tendency to put the onus and the responsibility on other entities. And then when it backfire, we complain. By that, I mean, do you really want government involved in the music? How much time have we heard? Because we're talking about dancehall music right now, right? And how grotesque, right? It's violent in nature. People talking vividly and graphically. It's like your video games. You remember when your video games was Duck Hunt? And even if you have Mike Tyson Punch Out, and even if you're fighting, it's cartoon animated. Now your video games are so graphic, it's real time, real life, just virtual reality right there. So it's desensitizing people. People feel the same way now about dancehall music, right? The graphic nature of it. And the thing about the dancehall music that makes it a little hard to swallow right now is because the times are now cheaper to accomplish certain things. For every song that comes out, artists can now afford to put out a video. So if the song's graphic, guess what's really graphic too? The video, right? But my opinion is, I don't know if I want government in the music. How many times have you heard a reggae artist, a roots reggae, a culture artist complain that they're being censored? Heard it from Sizzla Kalonji, Queen Ifrica, Tony Rebel, a bag of people, artists, good artists will come out with songs that if it doesn't please or appease the powers that be, they would get it censored, banned from the radio. And these were not derogatory songs. These are just songs that were speaking against the establishment and sometimes just speaking against ill things that somehow, somewhere would tie into the establishment, and the establishment didn't like that. So they would censor that music. So if they censor that music and we are complaining, right? Because they're censoring it and legally they're not supposed to. If we now ask them to legally intervene and censor some music, what is to stop them from censoring whatever they want to censor? We use the term gatekeepers a lot. What's going to happen when the government becomes the gatekeepers of music? Then that means certain messages will never come out. So as I understand Luciano's frustration, I understand it completely, right? As a fan of dancehall music, I'm I'm in a predicament right now where I have to be too selective. You know what I mean? I can't put in a dancehall CD no more and just hear tunes. I can't. I don't get it. I don't get it anymore. Right? So I feel like the ball has been dropped, but I don't know if I want to have the government in the thing. And again, I've getting a lot of messages, folks say, yo, man, I hear you have a comment, but I can't. If you can call in, do so. All right. It's 954-372-5453, 954-372-5453. Don't have to be an artist. Don't have to be a practitioner. Just what's your take, right? So, and yes, I have a couple of people scheduled to call in. I'll get to them. Kabaka Pyramid is also an artist that just voiced his opinion on it, right? And what he had to say, he said, right now, and you know what? Let me not misquote the young man, but he pretty much is talking about the music transcending the borders. Can the music cross over the shores based on the content? Because he had tweeted about it also, that we are holding ourselves back. And almost at the end of his conversation, or just his thoughts on Twitter, somebody mentioned the fact that American artists, and they mentioned actually grime artists, which is a UK type of music, right? Underground vibes, that you have people there who are huge and they have that type of graphic lyrics. And one thing he said, which made perfect sense to me, is that those people live in the UK, are the people that live in the US. That's where they are. That's where they reside. That's where their people are. That's where their fan base is. So if they're going to drop certain type of music, yeah, we got to deal with that. It is what it is. We got to do what we got to do. But it doesn't mean that some people don't have a problem with it. And if the gatekeepers will allow theirs to go through, they definitely will not allow some foreign negativity to come through. So when Kabaka spoke on that, I said, you know what, that's factual statements right there. Very, very factual statement. If the music is derogatory and they're already getting derogatory music from their own people, why would they, if we have these so-called gatekeepers, why would they have foreign entities, people from other countries, why would they let them in with the same type of derogatory music? All right? So right now, the state of dancehall, as far as we hear, is in an uproar. It's getting shaken up. And what we hear happening too, pretty much, is a lot of people who practice the music, they're just in it for the hype and stuff like that. They're not necessarily looking to excel past the shores, because a lot of times they have other means of income, other things. Dancehall has always been fueled by outside revenue, and this conversation is coming from actually this morning. It was on the radio, right? But it was so heated on the radio and so much people calling in and giving their opinions, which I appreciated. The show came to an end and we weren't able to hear everybody. So we had the convo, but I promised I'd speak about it again tonight. But I'm telling you, right about now, as a state of dancehall, it's a shaking situation right about now. Diane, how are you? Good to see you. And again, we talk about success, because success is pretty relative also. What do these artists want out of dancehall music? Are they looking for the same thing that the others had? Are they looking for the same kind of success where Sean Paul had, where Shaggy had, where Shabba had, where Elephant had, where Mr. Vegas had, where to some degree Lexus had, Mad Cabra had? You know what I mean? There's so many, and I could keep going as to all the different people who had enjoyed some commercial success, right? Because when we are home and we're in our homeland of Jamaica is small. So the people who we think are tearing down the place, what they're tearing down is Jamaica, right? Aren't we looking for a little more than that? So as fans of the dancehall, are you happy with what's going on inside the dancehall space right now? As artists that are in the dancehall, are you happy with what's going on in the dancehall space right now? We're going to find out. Trust me, we're going to find out.
Whoa, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Only Jah knows when I feel
Caller, you live. How you doing?
Greetings, G. Cole.
Happy New Year, my brother. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year.
Give thanks, brother. Give thanks. It's 2020, 20 years. Start off. I'll be a shake up already at the dancehall. Have you been seeing the conversation going on when it comes to the Lushis, when it comes to the Kabakas and more about what's going on in dancehall right now?
I saw what Luciano said, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not so much Kabaka, but I did see what Luciano said.
And what was your thought when you read the article?
I mean, as you alluded to, it's an age-old situation where there's always been complaints. From there is something called dancehall, there were complaints about lyrical content. Mm-hmm. But there's also a different element now, a different level of, lyrical content that is, I don't even know how to categorize, these are, I mean, let's face it, G. Cole, I think one of the first things we have to face the fact that society on a whole has changed. Mm-hmm. With it, moral standards have changed. Mm-hmm. So what was once considered derogatory may be acceptable and on some levels now. Mm-hmm. And even the lyrical content of yesteryear could not fly today. Do you think an artist would get a reel forward on a tune like Shabba Ranks Dembow today in 2022? Those kind of lyrics.
Right.
I mean, what Shabba was actually saying there. You know what I'm saying? So some things have changed, and some of them not necessarily for the better. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, this is where we are.
Right.
There's always been that age-old argument back and forth. What responsibility does an artist have for his or her words and conduct to the public in terms of having influence? Right. Mm. So the question also has to be asked there, what's the direction the artists are going today? Before, in the 90s, one of the biggest complaints was the gun lyrics. Mm-hmm. We still have a lot of that today, but again, it has gone even further because one of the comments I heard now was that artists are not only just talking about killing people, they are making songs telling people how to kill people. So how much is too much?
Well, let me ask you this, and ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Marlon Burrell. Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you.
Give thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Marlon Burrell from Real Rockers. What I was about to ask you is this: when we talk about what's in dancehall, yes, there's always been, I guess, what you'd call adult content, because some things are adult content and some things are derogatory content, some things are dangerous, negative content, but some things are just simply that, adult content, right?
True indeed.
Now, when it comes to the music in the dancehall, and we say, well, things have changed, things and times have changed, dancehall music is being made, our music in general is supposed to be made for the fan base. Do you hear the complaints from the fan base? Because the thing is, the only people I hear supporting and screaming loud and clear and saying nothing wrong with what's going on, nothing at all, right? The only people I hear say that are, one, the artists that are participating in it, right? There are a couple of people who really adore these artists. So no matter, it's no different from politics. I mean, we just saw the January 6th insurrection, whatever, right? So there's some people whatever the people who they like do, they champion that. Even if deep down to their core, they don't feel that way, they just cannot not support who they must support, right? So my thing pretty much is, are there people out there that really see no problem with what's going on in the dancehall music and just considers it evolution, or does it bother as many people as we think it bothers? Especially people who love and are from dancehall.
I don't think it bothers as many people as we would think. I think there are people out there who are just moving with what is happening. And they're not finding a problem with it. Again, the premise is, a different time now. And they don't have the respect and the reverence for the artists of yesteryear. That brought dancehall to the level that it got to.
Right.
And notice I used the past tense there, that it got to.
So in other words, there's been a plateau somewhere along the line.
Yes, and we have regressed. You alluded to international signings. When was the last time a dancehall artist got signed to an international label? In fact, I was having a discussion with a colleague 2 days ago, listening to 99 Jams here in South Florida. They play quite a bit of dancehall, but they don't play anything that's been released in the past 15 years.
Yeah. Can't play it.
Doesn't that tell you something?
It's quite telling, but here's the funny thing about it. Now we compartmentalize, right? And we look at it as, okay, why can't they play it? It's not just because of the lyrical content, because at the end of the day, there are certain things that they couldn't play back then either. But the thing,
right, correct.
My conversation earlier was the artists that were giving you what we'd consider adult lyrics or derogatory lyrics at some point in time, there was an equilibrium. They had other records that could play on the radio.
That's
so
right.
You could choose if you want going at the dance and you hear your favorite artist do something out of the ordinary. The shock value is almost appealing. You're like, yo, did he? And a lot of the time it was tongue in cheek. It was rhetoric. It was, did he really say that? Versus, and you ask, at him say, to this day, when you ask about certain dancehall songs, you'll ask 10 people and they'll have 10 different views of what the artist said or what he means or what he was implying, because it wasn't that explicit and that direct. But today's day, you don't have that anymore, because I hear of
everything is raw.
Everything is raw, and it passed raw gone to rotten. It passed raw gone to rotten. And here's the funny thing about it too. Majority, if you ask outside of the shores of America, who are the biggest names in dancehall music, right? DJs and people who are within the industry will tell you the same names you hear all the time. You'll hear of Shaggy. You hear of Sean Paul. You'll hear of, from a younger vantage point now, you'll probably hear of Popcorn. You hear, of course, the name Cartel. And then they'll go back to Abunti and Abini. And those are the names. Now, when you go to Jamaica or you speak to the diaspora and entities within Jamaica and you ask, then you hear certain names. You hear the Six, you hear Skilly Bang, you hear this, you hear that, right? And then you go to social media, you even go to the DSPs, the Spotifys and stuff like that, and you see a ton of streams and whatever the case may be. But there is no footage, no evidence, no proof. It's an enigma. It's phantom. You can't see them on no stages worldwide. That tells you something.
It does tell you something. It does. But as far as the lyrical part of it goes, and who is supporting it, I think also footage that we see from the dancehall space today kind of tells that there are people who support certain things. The behavior that you see now, it's kind of telling, like, this is where we are and this is what it has become. Yeah. But it seems no longer a product to be mass produced and mass sold. Because don't get me wrong, there are still people within the sphere that are complaining. Right, they use words like gatekeepers, and they're getting held back on whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, who are you taking that music to? Because what a lot of people don't realize, I want to say people, I mean a lot of the people I speak to that are defensive of it, right? And they'll say, look at the numbers and whatever the case may be, and they always call the one or two names. Look, Popcorn signed with Drake, one name, and on top of that, now, Popcorn has a lot of songs that are for the radio, right? Yes. So he did not neglect the formula, right? That the successful ones did. To be honest, he did not. He didn't. He has his own style and his own thing, but he maintained the formula. I have my hardcore tune them, but I need to make sure that radio is present, can get it. And not just radio, There's levels to hardcore too. Stuff that can be played
in the dancehall arena and in certain places without people cringing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And he's mastered that. So tell me, when it comes to the music getting out there, is there hope? Are we looking at a situation where our thing is gonna soon be extinct on a world stage when it comes to dancehall music? Or do you think the words, the comments, the concerns will hit home?
I am more inclined to think the former, that we're on our way to extinction, because I don't see the respect for the elders. Growing up in the 80s and the 90s, coming into the 2000s, there was a certain level of respect for our elders, and we may not always agree with what our elders tell us, but what they said carried a lot of weight.
Right.
And you would think long and hard about what they said. I find that now this generation tends to be very dismissive on all and so we do things again, them days they're done, and those kind of statements. So I would hope that that's not the way it goes, but based on the trend, that's kind of what I see happening, and we might just have to be some of those people who just have to hold on to the past, because quite honestly, that's what I've been doing.
Nostalgia, holding on to your crates, saying, this used to happen. The other thing too is, how much of it do we put on the production side of it too? Because one thing that we must say, and I know time's of the essence, probably let you go soon, is that when it comes to dancehall, there's a word that they keep forgetting that's involved in that is dance. And rhythms used to be able to make you can dance in the dancehall. No, you can't.
That was the international appeal.
Yep, because they didn't understand the language.
Right.
Most people didn't know a thing that we're saying, but they could groove, they could dance to the rhythm. And I was telling that to somebody the other day, and they were like, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to Afro beats, because we don't know what they're saying.
Right.
But when the thing drop, I was doing a party a couple of weeks ago, and when I dropped the Afrobeat there for the people, as per their request, everybody on the dance floor moving, and nobody don't know what they're saying.
Right, and as you said, the proof is in the pudding, and they've taken the dance out of dancehall, to be honest.
Right.
And I think that's a major problem in and of itself. And I think that's part of why we reach where we are as well.
Right.
So I think we need to get back to that formula. If you notice the forms of dance music that are successful globally, they have taken elements from Jamaican dance.
Yeah.
And a lot of the hip-hop artists are now sampling dancehall from the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And using them. Meanwhile, what Jamaican artists are doing, they're doing the reverse. They are taking beats that are not authentically Jamaican in their form, in their musical form, and they are putting Jamaican lyrics and Jamaican style vocals on those beats, and we're calling it dancehall. And Mr. Vegas once made a great point about that. Is the problem with what is called a dancehall today is the fact that it is called dancehall because it is not identifiable to what we know as dancehall.
Yeah. That is so true. That is so true. And it's a situation, and that's how because I always say evolution is imperative. Evolution happens, right? But
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. But evolution doesn't mean you have to abandon what's your roots.
And you know, I have always said that, G. Cole, and to this day, that is my point. That's a point I always make, is that if you look back at, let's talk about Jamaica's musical history. If we look back, our first popular music was ska. When rocksteady came along, people stopped making ska. Rocksteady evolved into reggae. They stopped making rocksteady.
Right.
And then then here comes the offshoot of what we call dancehall, and people tend to shift too far that way and kind of leave the authentic reggae behind.
Yeah.
So, there is so much more that we could do in terms of making our scopes wider with what we have already established.
I'm worried, Marlon. And the thing is, the reason why it worries me is I love dancehall, that's one. But at the end of the day, there are a certain set of young people out there right now that still love dancehall. In its original format. And I'm saying this. Yeah, nothing wrong with experimenting and stuff like that. But I see, and you tell me if you've seen this too, it almost seems like there is a, when I was growing up in Jamaica, I didn't want to move to this country. I was too young to not follow what my parents were making me do. So they moved and I was going to move with them. But there were people who all they were looking for in life was to migrate, right?
Right.
And it's also because of the influence of TV. When we used to watch TV, we'd see a lot of stuff. Miami, LA, that was the US. Miami, LA, New York, right? That's what came on TV. Everybody wanted that.
Right.
I almost see a situation on dancehall artists that musically they want to migrate. I almost get if they could be allowed. I know dancehall artists right now, upcoming dancehall artists who don't even do dancehall or beer up them or up. No, if it was dope, I would eat one thing, but it ain't, right? So it's a situation where it feels like they want to migrate. If they could, they would love to be called a hip hop artist. When you hear them talk and they give homage, the only things they speak of are hip hop culture, and of course that's what they see on TV. You would swear when you hear some of them talk. You'd swear that they grew up in New York, right?
I've seen that as well. I've made that observation.
Isn't that worrying, though?
It is. It's very much. And that is why I think we're going in the direction of, we got to hold on to what we've already established.
Hold on to what you've got.
Because I don't see the situation improving with the attitudes of the players involved overall. With maybe a select few being exempt, I don't see this thing getting any better.
Right.
Because those that are doing it are defending their position.
Yeah. Yeah. And how much of it is
rebellion? We can only hope that they look within themselves and say, maybe a little bit down the line. Sometimes you hold a hard line.
Right. Right.
And then a little bit down the line, you say, I wasn't thinking clearly at that time, but I was wrong.
Right. Ain't happening.
Can only hope that happens.
Ego is too big for that. Are you crazy? Can't have that. And then when it's gone, what do we do? Because here's the thing. You're vacating what you do for something else. And at the end of the day, this is my observation. You can also tell me if you've seen this or not. So we have all the dancehall artists and the DJs and stuff like that embracing hip hop and wanna be hip hop, and today, if I walk out the street right now and Drake is over there to the left and Bounty Killer is over there to the right, I'll be more starstruck over Bounty Killer, right?
No doubt.
Our Beanie Man than I am over these guys. What I see is this. They are trying to abandon what they do to do hip hop, because to me it's the phase out. So when they say it's trap dancehall, it's just because it would look really whack and corny to go straight hip hop. But at the end of the day, I don't see the American audience and I don't see the hip hop artists liking and I've never heard them speak highly or even mention it, period, that's fly. The only correlation
like I
see,
said, when hip hop artists draw for dancehall, they go for classic dancehall. They go for 90s. They're sampling the Dave Kelly and the Danny Brownie rhythms. That's what they're doing.
Yep. And who do they and look who they gravitate toward? An artist like a Popcorn, right?
Yeah.
But here's the truth. Popcorn doesn't do trap dancehall.
He doesn't.
Popcorn does dancehall. He has his style, but he does dancehall. Right. So people keep drawing the reference of Popcorn, right? But at the end of the day, Popcorn does dancehall, and that's the reason why he's loved and appreciated by the international audience. You know what I mean? When you are doing the spin-off and the knockoff of what they're doing, then what do they have to appreciate? I mean,
what we have to learn, history has taught us a lot, but it doesn't seem that the message resonates with some of us. History has taught us that international audiences from the 60s, from My Boy Lollipop, hit internationally in 1964. The international audience has taught us Jamaicans that what they love is our authentic style and culture.
Yeah.
And when we move away and from the real core of the authentic Jamaican style and culture, it's kind of like blah. You know, it's like us Jamaicans when we complain about having non-Jamaicans play Jamaicans in the movie. That's kind of like how trap dancehall comes over to non-Jamaicans.
I have never
It's
heard
like,
it
where's the real Jamaican stuff?
I have never heard it put that way, Marlon, but that is facts right there. Luke Cage, baby. Luke Cage. That's all I got to say. Luke Cage. My brother, I know you got to go, man, but I must say thank you so much. All right, this COVID and madness, we've been separated, not being able to sit down, but soon we're going to chop it up in the studio like old times.
Most definitely, Chico.
My brother, give thanks again and stay safe out there, all right?
All right, respect, bro.
Blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, Marlon Burrell, real rockers, real things, real conversations, real people. Gotta always take a minute to chop it up with the people who know what they're talking about.
Only Jah know when I'm feeling like I'm feeling. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. When I need him, like I need him. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. When I'm feeling like I'm feeling. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. When I need him, like I need him.
Not sure, Peter. You know it, man.
You never yet let me down. Whenever things get tough, whenever things get hot, I pull out Moses and head up to the mountains. I fall up on my knees.
Getting a lot of text here. It's 954-372-5453. 954-372-5453.
Granny always do, and she taught to me. I'ma teach to mine my little kings and queens. Whoa, when I'm feeling like I'm feeling. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. When I need him, like I need him. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. Another day goes by, another plot revealed. One man a planting farm, one a rob and steal. One have a hard love story, said he needs a meal. Need to feed him kids, correct, I know it feel like just giving it up because his faith is sealed. But never place your bets before the deal a deal. You know the hottest fire makes the hardest steel. Like I'm feeling. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. When I need him, like I need him. Jah, you never yet let me down. I say you never yet let me down. Even if I'm breaking inside, he forsaketh me never. My faith is stronger than pride. Jah is with me forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Forever.
It's called When I, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours truly, it's G. Cole and the Raps and Kush Band. The album is Ultra Rios. We're talking dancehall. And of course, the title for today is Can We Fix It? Or Is It Even Broken?
When I'm feeling like I'm
Carla, you live. Wagwan. Happy New Year, fam.
Hello, Happy New Year, G Cole. What's going on?
Brother, I'm just here, man. In a panic right now. I fret over my good old dancehall. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a dancehall lover and avid participant of the culture, so maybe you could tell me something that's gonna make me feel better. But you know, you've heard the rumblings going on of lately about dancehall. We've heard Lucy come out and speak on it, and I start with the Lucy sentiment because I don't really agree with most of it. I agree with the core of it, which is pretty much some cleanup is necessary, right? But that's just my opinion. But the part of it, the part of it that I wasn't for is talking about the government need to do something, because again, we've heard some of our favorite and our major artists that were doing roots and culture music get censored and banned because the powers that be didn't feel like the message that they were doing was beneficial for them, right? Even though it's positive stuff. So I feel like that's Pandora's box. But talk to me right now when it comes to the field, the realm, the space of dancehall and its music. How do you feel about the music you are hearing?
Well, the dancehall, I'm a dancehall lover. I grew up, I got wood up a dance and them things, and then we started experimenting. We started trying to experiment with music, doing what we're doing too. And everything is good, G. Remember that we had Rocksteady, as I said earlier, we had Ska and all these things. Mm-hmm. If the trap dancehall is more, it gets more impact and get more powerful than dancehall will overpower, but otherwise from that it cannot overpower it. Everything happens naturally. All chips will fall where they may. You can't fight anything because people don't do trap dancehall, so okay, we're just gonna trap dancehall. If people sing what they like, most people interpret music by trying to target the audience. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that is the way to look at the music. The way to look at the music is sing what you like. The man, they must sing what they like. The man, they like. They grew up listening to a lot of hip hop. They grew up on Zip FM. The times change. They grew up on Zip FM playing a lot of hip hop, and then people love these things. They grew up on Biggie, and it just morphed into that. Just like how dancehall left from Jamaica and morphed into rap. Cool Earth carried to New York, and it morphed into rap, and rap become a more powerful force than dancehall. It's a natural mystic. Nothing can change. Structures can change it. It's just, as I said, the chips fall already made. Life will fix it. I do a lot of trap dancehall. I like trap, but I love dancehall music also. Mm-hmm. But the things that we love dancehall for too, and we cuss dancehall for, are the same things that we hate it for. And if you drop these things, alright, you notice that from Bounty Killer stop being Bounty Killer, Cross, Angry, Miserable. None of Killer song them not it. Sizzler College, the same with them stop it from them take out the core element, which is the 3Gs, girl, gun, and weed, girl, gun, and guns to them say. So is like a balance of life. It's like, it's a matrix, like, it's alright, damn if you do it, damn if you don't, but this is the way it works. Cartel, make sure I'm stick to it because I realize that this is the way it works. And if you veer off field, it's going to flop. Just like Stagabens, it's veer to us side flop. Only maybe Sizzler and Capleton and Buju escape with being dancehall artists and then switch over to being reggae artists, and it works. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what, the dancehall is going to be what is happening every day in society. And you can't tell a man to him must set example when he is in the same age group as the other people that he's singing for. It's just life or work itself, I think.
Wow. I love your viewpoint on it. There's certain things I'm hearing. The first thing I heard was when you say, we had Ska and we had Rocksteady. You know what I mean? We speak about the evolution, right? What came along with those evolutions was the abandonment, because when Rocksteady came, Ska died. In Jamaica, at least, right? So, and we can't say it without that. We're nostalgic and we hold on to certain legacies because it is our heritage. But at the end of the day, we can call a spade a spade. Within Jamaica and Jamaican core, Ska died, right? Rocksteady died, right? So if we continuously take that approach, right? Isn't it just a matter of time, like the conversation I was having with the previous caller, until dancehall is dead too? And I wonder about, our appreciation and where it comes from, because even when we talk about, a lot of times I hear the Cool Herc comparisons. Dancehall really never morphed into hip hop. Elements of dancehall is what created it, and the element that created it was the toasting element over the beat. But dancehall never turned into hip hop. It's not a, it is not an evolution of one to the other. They borrowed something from dancehall and go create hip hop. So that being said, is there any reason why the masses should be concerned? Because that's not what's going on right about now. When we're talking trap dancehall, that's a small part of it, to be honest with you. I'm not really not the trap dancehall thing, because like you said earlier, do what you like. I am yet to have identified the fan base that likes it. Because everybody, when we meet, young and old, we like dancehall, they all have the same sentiment. So a lot of times I think that artists are creating music for themselves and that small, intimate circle that they exist in, because people outside of that not really appreciating the trap dancehall thing. But I mean, nah, knock it, because at the end of the day, do what you like. I might decide to start rapping tomorrow. I won't do it because I'm a suck, but I might decide to start doing that. But at the end of the day, based on what you're saying, should the pure lovers of dancehall, the people who enjoy dancehall, I'm not talking about the old people, or even my generation, should there be fear and concern that it's just a matter of time until dancehall too will be a thing of the past?
No, not at all, because that part of it depends on the producers, the quality producers, like the Dave Kellys or maybe some newer Dave Kellys and like the Don Carleons and so. If they come back or have people that they groom, like Nigel Staff and these people that they groom, to come and build high quality dancehall beats, they're still gonna hit. Once they get a high quality dancehall beat, you're still gonna get a high quality dancehall music. That's just how it works. It's not going to be like, okay, it's just gone and dead. Once they come with the quality, as my original Lickadale say, good shit sell itself. Once it starts, I forget I'm on the radio, sorry. But
good.
Once it is good, once the thing has quality, it's going to sell itself. Even look at Gangnam Style side. Nobody knows what he's saying in the song. The song became the biggest song on YouTube. I think we're getting too much down into the scientifics and the
Hold on. Here's the reality of it. There's formulas to everything. Gangnam Style blew up for two reasons. One, the novelty of it, right? So that's why I jokingly said to somebody the other day, if I had some money to invest in an artist right about now, if I could find an Arabian dancehall artist, or if I could find like because there's a novelty with it too. It's no different from a lot of things that are not great that have millions of views, because a lot of times you share it to me saying, yo, take a look at this mess. I meet upon, and suddenly go get somebody else and say, yo, take a look at this mess. And all of a sudden, skyrocket. So that's one. The second thing too, outside of the novelty, is the same reason why K-pop is becoming a sensation right now. You're talking about a culture that's not known for pop culture, but they're a big, numbers wise, they're huge. Right? So once their market see, wow, something a go on with somebody, for us, they support it. I.e. Yao Ming, right? From the Houston Rockets. But stuff like that will happen. But so I don't know if it's the music itself that make that blow up. But back to the dancehall space, I want to go on to the dancehall. I agree with you in terms of there's a formula that you don't want to mess with. Now, dancehall is a young man's sport. Everybody's going to age out at some point in time. And when we say age out to some degree. Killer, for example, Bounty Killer. Bounty Killer, I don't think Bounty Killer started to subside in his fame and in his effect out there because he started to change his views. I think his views started to change long after his career started to plateau. Right? Because the youth, them come out and it's a young man's sport. Bunty's doing his thing, Beanie's doing his thing, Sean Paul are doing his thing, but even Sean Paul is not at the heyday where he was 10 years ago. So that's going to happen. But when you talk about the young artists then right now, and I hate saying the young artists, but just artists in general coming out and doing the trap dancehall, and you mentioned the beat, that good producers and whatever. If you are making beats for artists and the artists want trap dancehall, then who are you going to give those quality beats to?
No, they will find who to give it to. The people will come along. Because if a man wants trap dancehall beat, you have to give him what he likes so he can connect with the audience. That is what he likes. Mm-hmm. And that energy pushed into the track is going to work. Just like Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel is what, 45 years old, and Vybz Kartel is still as hot as none of these young. He's still the most streamed artist on YouTube for last year again. The quality of it, good stuff sell itself. The good stuff gonna sell itself no matter what. Outstanding quality gonna sell itself. So even when you say what, like with the novelty of like Arabian artists, it's just like the two island boys, what everybody takes for a joke. They're not that people will say, okay, the novelty just play 5%. But guess what? The Island Boys found a way and it struck magic, but they're not a joke because they're not laughing when they're doing what they're doing, but it seems completely silly to most people. So fame comes with a lot of different tricks sometimes. That is what works. Is this work, the right time, the right person at the right moment.
So the Island Boys. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
You remember when you were saying right at the end when he won that, when he broke the world record in China, and right as he's crossing line, that lightning bolt struck. It's a matter of timing and placing at the moment. It's not because the Island Boys, trust me, most people just laugh them off like a joke. But the thing is that they figured a way how to get out there. So they're past a joke now.
Yeah, but the thing is this, isn't it the fact that it's a joke? That make it blow up, you know? Because here's the funny thing about it. Everybody that I probably got 500 shares of people sending me that Island Boys thing, right? And every last one of them that shared it to me, it was mockery. So what happens is this. We look at numbers. We don't look at how numbers are generated, right? And the fact that numbers are generated that way means that they're skewed, but to some degree, they're accurate numbers. They're numbers because people really view them. But people didn't view him for the purposes of which we wanted to view him. But let's talk. Let's hit the dancehall space, right? Again, I appreciate people who bring up the Cartels and the Popcorns because those are the two names that will be brought up most times because they're uber successful. Vybz Kartel is what I consider and maybe it's just because of the incarceration, but he never got the commercial affiliations. People rate him, but nobody said, hey, let me sign a Vybz Kartel, as they did with a Popcorn, right? And there's a reason for that, you know, because though Vybz Kartel maneuvered his space in our local dancehall sphere, his fame, his popularity, his notoriety grew outside of the sphere. But the music that he was making was not exactly marketable like that. He has a couple of songs that him drop and them sell and them do whatever the case may be. But Popcorn, I think, did a better job of working with the formula. Because even them two names that you mentioned, guess what? They have affiliations international. People love them, right? Am I wrong?
You're right.
But guess what? None of them did. They didn't vacate regular dancehall. They both do regular dancehall. So what does that say to the folks who want to do something else?
Well, as I said earlier, everyone has to do what them like. If Kartel likes trap dancehall, he would do trap dancehall, but he doesn't like it. And if it works for his career, and if he tries it, probably he doesn't try it because probably that's not what he likes. But if a next man tries, if the right man try to trap dancehall for one song, Gregory, or 10 songs, and try it and figure the formula out, the whole thing gonna blow up into a different level. It's just the chemistry with the chemistry of your voice and the beat, and if people like it, and it just take off.
So you don't think one of them would have take off already? Because remember, people been complaining about trap dancehall for about 5 years now, you know, right?
Yes, but yeah.
No, go ahead.
The right man just not come at Gregory. Remember, Bob Marley used to sing Rocksteady, and then Lee Scratch Perry told him to sing reggae. Remember, he sang One Love, One Heart, sing that song fast for years. That never worked, and Lee Scratch Perry told him how to sing and it worked. It's just a matter of time. Because a lot of kids like this, the uptown kids, Gregory, especially uptown kids like kids that do go UTech, UA, all these Kingston people, they love that half rap, half dancehall mix. It's a big audience, but it is underground. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know.
Research it, my brother.
Keep doing it.
I have to go research it because the conversations I have with the folks that are hitting up the dub clubs and the underground spots and whatever. Don't get me wrong, you know. I said I will never say nobody digs it, right? But I think the adoration that Jamaica has had for America and for hip hop artists and stuff like that is what is the strength and the fuel for those people who do the trap dancehall. Because when I talk to the people would do trap dancehall, them love it. But I am yet to hear just avid listeners, because we separate ourselves now. We have artists over there, so we have musicians, we have this, we got that. But then we have some people over there that are just listeners of music, just fans of music, right? I am yet to discover somebody, even the youth, even amongst the young fellas, teenagers, 20s or whatever, that said to me, say, yeah, that's it. And even in the media houses that are being spearheaded by young people, I expected to see it jumping off. So my concern pretty much is just, I'm not saying I'm opposed to trap dancehall. I got no issue with the trap dancehall, right? My thing pretty much is, are we giving away? Are we walking away? Are we abandoning? And guess what? Volumes is what's speaking. If you have one artist, I'll do it. It can't do so. If we have dancehall artists and 80% of the upcomers vacated for something else, we're talking about a dead genre here, no?
Right, right. Well, as I say, this is life working itself out. Let the chips fall where they may. Because if that is what the people gravitate into. If the artists are gravitating to it that way, I don't think they're just following. I feel they're doing what they like. So that means there must be something or somebody, like people like Javlani. If you listen to Javlani has a lot of good lyrics. Probably some of the songs are haven't reached that level yet, but he still has a lot of good lyrics. Remember, I sang a song named Check It that went to number one of these local stations here. And then I hear that Yankee sing my song, spin it around and say Shake It, and the song is the most good song. The right person and the right feeling and everything strike gold.
Right. And guess what?
You know, we have to, yes.
That to me would be another thing. Because here's the deal: if we did a thing here in trap dancehall and it blew up and it became something, that would be one other thing we could add on our belt. And of course, just like how we have a tendency to claim hip hop, like say, boy, if it wasn't we wouldn't be no hip hop. There would be the American market that would click, but I would say if it wasn't them, there would be no trap dancehall. So we'd have to share the heritage for that one day. But it's all good as long as it's bringing stuff in. But again, we're talking about those people who are doing, because we hear okay, we talk about trap dancehall a long time. Let's talk about even the lyrical content, because that's what most of the complaints that we've been hearing recently about dancehall and dancehall music has to do with the lyrical content, what is being put out in the music by the current artists. What's your take on that?
Well, I fall guilty of some of that because we do hardcore lyrics, so I would stick to it. But some people nowadays do it to a different stretch of the imagination with some different kind of saying some stuff. Like saying some stuff that maybe is a little bit overboard, maybe a little bit, or maybe way overboard with some things. But in time it will find itself, because who don't want to listen it, don't listen it. So that everybody will dictate where they reach. Every artist will dictate where they reach. So that is your formula. If you want to sing this and say certain things, and you find people that can swallow it or find it palatable, fine. But if the majority of people are going to find it like apprehensive or abrasive, then you're going to lock yourself out. It's just let the chips fall where they may again. Everybody sign up for their own destiny. So when people like, I respect Luciano as a big artist from a long time, completely. Luciano, Kabak and them. But I think what they need to focus on making hit songs, because that is what works. If you make a big old hit, nothing can stop it. So focus on making big reggae hits so you can pull the youth instead of pointing on the other dancehall artists that are doing this, that are putting do the quality, let the youth follow behind you instead of watching them follow behind somebody else and then point the finger. It's a bigger level.
Right. And some of that I definitely agree with, because I feel like this. If we trace back the origins of dancehall, I talk about dancehall as a place, because dancehall became a genre later. Dancehall as a place is where most reggae used to be played. People don't think about it that way, right? But you used to go to the dancehall, not for go hear dancehall music. You used to go to dancehall, go hear reggae, right? And whatever is being played until dancehall, because dancehall, they're both from Sky, the place, the dancehall. It was smaller, more compact, and when there was dancehall, when there was rocksteady, when there was reggae and all of that stuff, the dancehall still existed, right? And then we morphed the genre that we call dancehall. Now, when it comes to all that being said, I find right now that when we go into certain places, you can't enjoy the vibes no more. And even the people them who sit down and tell me say them love Wagwan, when we go into the dance hall, them stand up too. Because the type of music that's being made, you can't dance to it, that's a one. Right? You can't dance to it. People say, do you know such and such and such and such an artist? And I honestly don't. Because one, everybody sounds alike, so I don't know who that. But it's also not orgasmic. It's actually more ear pollution to me because I'm a Jano star. I am in the dancehall right now with a vibe, and I'm just run a band, a nice tune, and the tune that follow up about me has just told me how to dissect somebody's skull from them torso. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, you understand my message? That you just told me how to separate somebody's fibula. You understand me? I say with weapon, and I'm like, Jano,
you don't find that palatable.
But here's the thing. Me, I wonder if who finds it palatable beside because again, you know, I hear people, like when I have a conversation with people, the people who I hear champion these things are always people who are curators too, who do similar music, who do dancehall and stuff like artists. But the artists that are successful, I don't hear champion it. And the people who just want to listen to music, me not hear champion it either. So that's why I said to myself, so boy, what can we do? Is it a situation where me and my peers and me just make up our mind and say, can we stay away yard? Like the previous caller said, anytime you hear 99 Jams, anytime you hear any of these mainstream radio stations play any dancehall music, it's 90s dancehall and up to about 2000, 2010. Them can't go no further.
Yeah, because the quality, one of the main things to G Cole, otherwise from the lyrical content, which gets a little more hardcore still, I think that the quality of production and the quality of the development of the talent is not as before. Because after maybe Bounty Killer they had maybe Vibe Cart and I do, and after that nobody developed to that level. I hear Vegas and all them talk when they used to go to Steely fine tune all them, Steely put them through the fire. Sometimes Steely come, Steely say run them out the studio, get out the studio, come back when they fix the thing. A lot of people don't find that kind of thing offensive if you tell them that nowadays. Like, no, you know, must be way. But he was actually building them, but they couldn't read it. But the society on a whole has gotten so soft that everybody just wants to just be accepted. They must be emotional because of mental health and all kind of. And most of these things are nonsense they're talking. They just are people that not don't want to take correction anymore or take that fine tuning to reach to the other level.
Yep.
They don't want to take that fine tuning again, so they find all kind of excuses. This man don't like me. He's aggressive. He was what you call it now? He was what you call it? What you call it now? I don't even know what to call it.
Bully me.
Bully me. Foolishness. It's foolishness. Most bullies, Gregory, if you can beat the bully, that is when you get to the other level. Bullies are very necessary. Bullies are the gatekeepers that get you onto the other side, but they're testing you.
But you know something though? You know what I've learned over the years? Most of the people who we say are bullies, are we turn them in a bully because they're not really a bully with. They're just right. You know what I mean? They're asses and they're doing what they do. But we, like you said, people are a little weak. So because the man stand up in front of you, automatically we brand him the bully. No different from the fact that somebody did something bad nowadays. We'll call it mental health issues. But the thing is, you mentioned like all the Steely and Cleveland and Monday, even the Bobby Digitals and so forth. Because the thing is, those guys were working with reggae artists as well as dancehall artists. So the quality was, transcending from one to the other. But what was happening too is this, or what is happening now too is this, that environment is no longer around. In other words, most of the artists because majority of the artists now who I see started putting out certain type of music, they were producing it themselves because it became, they were able to do it now. Everybody's got a laptop. Everybody got Fruity Loops. Right. You know what I mean?
That is what changed the space. That is what changed it.
Yeah, that's what changed it. I know people are free to express themselves. And then the problem is lack of honesty amongst folks too, because here what happened now. I am off because it's like when when Sugar said, how come so much people get raped and we don't know a rapist, right? I think it's the same thing with the music. If you say your community love you, how come when we talk to your community outside when they're not in front of your face, they don't say that? So that says to me pretty much them not say that. That says to me pretty much the people who are around you, when you do it, everybody, yeah man, it mad, it tough, it bad, it's awesome. You know what I mean? And then when they walk around and roll their eye, You know what I'm saying? So because I don't hear. I'm trying to find the consumer, and I'd love for somebody who loves it to hit me up and let me know that them love it. But me can't find the fan base. The fan base is CIA. It's Phantom.
Well, that's what you're saying. You have a real point there. Still.
So
that means that we need to get back to these big time producers who could do what they're doing, these Dave Kellys and so on. But guess what? They're not the people that they have to work with now, not going to take the telling, because I hear artists. I was listening to Nigel Staff the other night on Muscle podcast, and he was saying that a lot of times Dave would send people back or take people doing one song for 2 weeks, one single song for 2 weeks, but they couldn't understand that he was bringing out the best in them, the magic. These people nowadays are not understanding that. They're like, oh, fight against me, foolishness.
You know, as I hear you say that now, we talk about the magic and the putting through the fire and the training process and the training ground and whatever, right? And all these different things that we can chalk the experience up to. Because I've sat down with the likes of the Bobby Digitals and them and you know what I'm saying, and Tony Kelly and Dave Kelly, and as I listen to it, sometimes they weren't teaching anything. The thing never sound good and never ready. I hate that. You know what I mean? It's not okay. You know what? I'm the professor. I'm Yoda. I'm guru in this thing. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. The thing never sound right, my lord. So no, we can't do nothing. And the man go home, work on it, come back, and the man now it's still not sound right. And at one point him come back with something, the man say, "Yo, that right?" Because as a producer, you want a hit. So if him finally come back with it and it right, then you do it. But like you said, right now, that situation is different because there is no, the term I like to say is there's no quality assurance. There's no quality control. There's no QC at all.
No.
Right? You just do what you want to and put it up. But as far as the lyrics go though, because I do hear complaints from within the industry now of artists not getting to get their music out to the international world. Kabaka Pyramid said something where he said, you know, while we always say UK has grime artists that are successful, and hip-hop the US has hip-hop artists who do certain lyrics and they are successful. How come we can't do it with Jamaican artists? And the truth is, those people are already where they are. The gatekeepers, because we love to use the term gatekeepers, are not allowing you to bring that mess into the thing. We already got our crap right here. You know what I mean? It's like we got some killers here killing folks. Why am I open my borders for you to come kill us too? You know what I'm saying? So what do you think of a sentiment like that in terms of, you know, the reason why I can't move through? And yes, you see it succeeding over there is not because there's an appetite for it. It's just that, hey, them now gonna let some more of that in there since they have their own to deal with.
Right. Well, I agree with that totally. The gatekeeper is going to lock out most of that because that's their reason, and okay, keep that where you are. But you're always going to have one man come through G Cole that is so good that you can't, if the gatekeepers can't keep the gate, it's going to burst on the gate.
Who do you think that is coming up from the class that's coming up right now? Who do you think that is?
In Jamaica?
Yeah.
Well, if his Massacre keep working on his craft, he can do it. Massacre is a very good artist. His album, if you ever listen to it, he produced a very good album, 438 or 437, I don't remember the name, but it has some I didn't expect it at all. It blew my mind. He's very lyrical, but his thing is hardcore, and I hear him talk about the same problem that he tried to fix it, but when you try to fix it, the same thing, you're damned if you do it, damned if you don't. The same thing that people love is the same thing they hate, so you have to stick to the hardcore. But he kind of polished it, and he has some very good tracks on that album, I think. Some very good tracks on it. I
haven't heard the album, but I will tell you this. I have heard great things about it. And it's something that I need to sit down. I'm not going to tell a lie right about no one time. When me need to go listen, when somebody say, yo, check out the artist, the album, man. It's a dancehall album. It's like I need to get a bottle, right? Me need to get some rum. And me need to be quite sedated. I'm being in a position where I'm already, yeah, I mean, I'm mellowed out. I'm zoned out because I got to be prepared for this right here. But I'll say this. Plus, Massacre did this thing a long time ago. So because Massacre has not broken into the industry big, sometimes we think of him as a young artist. Am I a young artist? Massacre big man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He just hasn't put out a lot of albums or whatever, but he's been at it for a minute. But you know which young artists dancehall artist, I think, has a bright future. And I think so because of the fact that I think he, talent-wise, he's got it. The way him delivery is on point. But what he says makes sense. I mean, I feel like what he says is hardcore to some degree, but it's relatable to one and all. I live a regular life. Some people say I'm a regular suburban guy, but I can relate to certain things. And or I've experienced certain things before or whatever. And it's the artist known as Yaksta.
That's the man, Yaksta bad.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes,
so when they talk about kicking down the gate or stuff like that, I could see a situation where the gate could be kicked down for an artist like Yaksta. When I say kick down, I mean no favors, like him kicking down the gate himself, because of the fact that I feel like he's armed with the content to bring to the masses. Because a lot of time we're sitting there knocking on these doors, and when somebody opened the door, we don't know what to do. We don't have what to deliver. It's like when they talk about the dog that's chasing the car. When the car stops, then what?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Brother.
That's exactly what you're saying. But hopefully it doesn't stop for him, because you can maneuver it, hopefully, because you remember when Sizzla came out, and before I continue to that, one person that from the UK that I think is bursting a lot of those is K-Sire. What is it for his name? Is K-Sire. He's very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, but
he's going to transcend everything.
But
yeah. But otherwise from that, let me switch in and talk.
It's all good. You know why? It's for the reggae artist. I see, yes, that's almost Sizzla.
Yes, Sizzla. Remember Sizzla came out in a time when hardcore dancehall was punching it and just come out and just do his thing. The quality was just there. Couldn't resist it.
Mm-hmm. And him do a dancehall song and I think dead for him. You know, as a matter of fact, you shouldn't bring that up, because I dancehall song. When you kill a thing, you know, if you never the bump up or pump when I still up on stage. But I joke my mic.
Right, yes. His quality his quality over the years after that time, I wonder what really happened. I think he maybe lost focus on the music, but during those times,
you think so?
I think yes, man. Sometimes I hear Sizzla singing some songs now, and I'm like, I don't think he's even interested again. It doesn't sound that way to me.
But that's not new to Sizzla, because you know why I know so that not new to Sizzla Street is this. Yeah. It's when it comes to artists and musicians, there are certain things that only the fans are going to appreciate, right? Now, a perfect example. When Lauryn Hill did the MTV Unplugged album, right? That's all right. A lot of people are like, this woman's crazy. But I'm such a huge fan that I appreciated it. I just like the difference in it, right? Now, I also remember, and I still have these CDs, right? When you were in Jamaica, seeing? You used to give me the Sizzla them when we couldn't get from nobody else. And some off-key stuff where Sizzla sing on some piano, in some acoustic, some jazz thing, and people would think like this is crazy. And everybody, when we play for people, it's like it's crazy. But no, it was fire. And he was still on the come up. You know when I think and how I think things went left? When he signed with Dame Dash. Because what happened, and the whole affiliation with Dame Dash, Lil Wayne, and all of them things, because I think we kind of hero worship them artists, and I hear a lot of people allude to it a lot. Because what happened is this: the American folks see us doing what we do, they love what we do, then they sign you, and you come here trying to do what they do. It always bugs me out, because it's not Sizzla alone. When I say a Jamaican artist gets signed by an American entity, hip-hop entity, and all of a sudden when we get the album now, it sounds like a hip-hop album. And that's the end right there.
It throws off everything. It throws off the career completely.
Completely. Because
you went left for so far left, it's hard to come back right.
You can't come back right. And the American fans don't want it because it's not real. The Jamaican fans don't want it because they feel abandoned, and the sound is abandoned. But what you did is you just made that record to impress the person who signed you and a couple of people that are around you in the American sphere, and then they too have to end up walking away because it's not a lucrative thing.
Right. Because it's like a FIFA, like you overbalance yourself on one side. I already were saying that earlier, that popcorn, make sure you stick to the farm no matter what it is. Hardcore song for these does is radio music also, which is very important.
Yeah. And hardcore, here's the other thing too. Hardcore, that word I think is what the issue is. Because it's conflated, it's misconstrued, right? when we think about hardcore, Bounty Killer is considered a hardcore DJ, you know, right? But truth be told, the song that my Bounty Killer used to do sound like roots reggae compared to the hardcore dancehall now.
No,
So
right,
like roots and culture.
yes.
So is that so when you talk about the Popcorn situation, Popcorn does hardcore, but Popcorn is not doing songs that you can. You might not like it. It might not be for you. But the thing about when we listen to Popcorn so-called hardcore songs, it might not be what I want to play in front of my child, but I can listen to it. You understand me?
Right.
But some of the other stuff that's coming out right about now, not only can I not play it in front of my child, but I can't play it for me.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
The quality, it's not just the quality, the content. The content is not palatable. It's not palatable.
Yeah, it don't make no sense because I still am trying to figure out who is it being made for. You cannot make music for yourself. I have never heard, I mean, a lot of the great ones, you hear them say, well, I just love it and I'm creating. Yes, that is, I'm not saying no, because I do that when but at the end of the day, I would be lying to you if I said to you I was not concerned about what the listening audience is going to think. I'd be lying to you if I said to you, when I'm creating this music, I am not making sure that the listening audience are going to love it. I mean, and not just me when I going to love it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, right.
That's where my concern is, Fire. That's where my concern is. Yo, let the masses them know where them can find your stuff, because they need to check out your stuff too.
All right, respect, man. Well, I'm on YouTube. I'm on, have songs on all the major platforms. Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, all over. My name is Wallstreit. It's Street with an EI. Wallstreit from Mall Street. The girls are not dude. And everything Mall Street, that's it. And I have a lot of mixtapes out, so they can just check me out. You understand me? Respect for the time and everything, and the strength G code.
No, spell Wallstreit again for because we got school for spell things right, and you done messed it up. so spell it for we, the Wallstreit, so the people can go check it out. I find you.
It's Wallstreit. It's Street with an EI.
Mad.
Yes.
Mad.
It's Street with an EI.
Give thanks. And when this Ro thing gone or whatever the new version of it is, one of these days come to the studio and we can sit down and we can chop it up for the duration of the show.
No problem at all, man. They can find me on Facebook too. More love G Cole every time. A great show going. Great show.
Give thanks, bro. Give thanks. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is Wallstreit. It's G Cole. My brother, give thanks, alright?
Bless up every time.
One love.
Remember when dancehall used to nice? Oh yeah. Nice like the chicken on your eyes.
There's a place I know I'd really love to take you, and I'm sure that you would really like it there. I see it still so clearly through my window. There's a joy so sweet I taste it in the air. Boom, boom, yeah. In this place, it's in my memory. It's a place our kids will never know. Take me back to the old days when dance used to nice. People were rocking way back till morning light. Back to the old days, those days I adore. Lovers would hold on tight on the dance floor. Back to the old days. Back in the old days. There's a love that overcomes me.
Overcome me, yeah.
In every
Patricia.
In the crowd.
In the crowd, yeah.
I'll whisper softly to you.
Whisper something in your ear.
And you hear me though it's loud.
Princess Myra.
Boom, boom, yeah. And this love is in my memory. It's a love our kids will never know. Take me back to the old days when dance used to nice. People were rocking way back till morning light. Back to the old days, those days I
Princess Non-Rev, how are ya?
Lovers would hold on tight on the dance floor. Back to the old days.
Come and some walking on the old days, old days.
Back in the old days.
Aye, well, yo. Hey, yo, hey. Remember back in the day when dancehall used to nice. A place to relieve your stress and for all the vibes. Some big sound a play speaker tall to the sky. And when the bassline drop, you see dim the street lights. Roll up and sing and grab a Guinness. Big tune a play beat down the wall, me no business. And keep me eye lock and hard to little Phyllis. Later on after party we got down a Guinness.
Yeah, in this place it's in my memory. It's a place our kids will never know. Take me back.
Hey Norma, thanks for rocking.
Used to nice, people were rocking.
JB Johnson Lajo.
Morning light, back to the old days. Those days I adore. Lovers would hold on tight on the dance floor. Back to the old days. Back in the old days.
Them from the Tippy.
Oh yeah.
Remember when dancehall used to nice?
Oh yeah.
Nice like the chicken on your eyes.
There's a place I know I'd really love to take you, and I'm sure that you would really like it there. I see it still so clearly through my window. There's a joy so sweet I taste it in the air.
It's called Old Days. It's yours truly, G. Cole and the Raps and Kush Band. J. Will.
Places in my memory.
Album came out 2013 and it's funny. That's exactly how I was feeling. I haven't changed, I haven't stopped feeling that way. We're yearning for the old days and it's amazing. We keep feeling that way and keep seeing other people feeling that way, and even folks that are younger. You know what I mean? Yearning for the old days, man.
The old days, those days.
And a lot of it is figuratively speaking too. It's not necessarily the old days and the old artists and the old songs. It's just quality of old, you know what I mean? We would so love the upcoming artists, the new ones, the new kings and queens of this thing.
Back in the old
to give us something to love, man. It's called Old Days. It's yours truly.
There's a love that overcomes me.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. The podcast, Homegrown with G. Cole, is available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinika sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on the podcast Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your digital retailers. Please support the artists.